Thanks, Aaron.
You're listening to
No problem.
JV
Let me know that you got it, please.
I will do.
James Poovey alongside my co-host Vince Delisio. This morning we are live from BoSa Donuts just off Central Avenue here in downtown Phoenix. Vince, it's Brophy Bronco Day.
It is. You know what? And we set up a remote. We said we got together, and as we put our heads together, who knows what's going to happen.
Oh, that's
and
always dangerous.
We came up with this idea. We said, you know what? One place we've never done a remote from that's just an awesome place is BoSa Donuts. Everybody always talks about BoSa Donuts. They're all over the valley.
Oh, yeah.
And we thought, we got in touch with Jackson, the owner, and he said, why don't you come to one of the biggest locations we have downtown? And when he said that, a light turned on in my head, which doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's pretty dangerous. And we said, you know what? We're down the street from Brophy, BoSa, Brophy. Let's do a Brophy Day on the JV Sports Show.
And here we are.
And as you know, James, I spent a season. I coached at Brophy about 8 years ago. Coached football. I had fun. Worked with Scooter Molander and Bill Woods and Chris Ramsey and Tom Kors and
you had some good athletes there on that team too, huh?
Yes, Jim Grindy. Yeah, we had a great time. Had some really good athletes. Devin Allen was a senior on that team.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean we had some athletes played in the semifinals. Lost to eventual state champion Mountain Point that season, and it was a great year. A lot of fun, and here we are reliving it. So today we are featuring winter sports. We're going to feature the Brophy winter sports here on our show. So we're going to talk to a couple guys from the wrestling team. We're going to talk to basketball. We're going to talk to soccer. And they've all had some major success this season. And we want to tap their brains a little bit and find out, what they attribute the success to. And they seem like good guys. So, we figured we'd have them down. And anybody else that's in the area, come on down, 3701 North Central Avenue in Phoenix. We're just off of Central, on the east side of Central, and Clarendon, just south of Indian School Road. So we got donuts. There's coffee. Come on down.
Hot coffee.
Yeah. And don't forget your wallet. Bring your wallet and buy some donuts too. So
get some donuts and get some to go and take home to the family after you come down too.
My son Matthew here woke him up out of bed, and he's already had about a half a dozen. And then our producer Greg Jones is here. Aaron, sorry you couldn't be here. Aaron Decker, who's in the studio today, manning the helm there. But we're gonna have a lot of fun, James.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Brophy with a very storied sports history. I mean, they've had a rich athletic tradition going way back to the very beginning of their school.
Yeah.
And they play right across the street from Xavier, which is an all-girls school.
Yep.
And then they're right next to Central High School as well. So a lot of good athletics right in that general area there.
There are, and it's in the people. Now, as an outsider looking in, you don't really know the true story of what it's all about. But it's a great atmosphere. And as an insider, and I call myself an insider, I was there for a year, but you learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about the families.
Well, you got the pullover, Vince. You were there for maybe more than a year.
Long enough to get the pullover and to get to be in the team photo.
There you go.
And after that, it was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. But it was great. We had a great time, and I'm just looking forward to going back and being a little nostalgic and talking to some of these guys and finding out a little more about them. So.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great show. Who we got coming on today? I know we have the basketball coach. We're going to be joined as well by Wayne Catton from the wrestling team, and it's going to be a great show. And then Paul Allen, the soccer coach as well, is going to join us. And
Matt Hooten, the basketball coach, and then a couple of athletes. So far we got Henry Barber, who wrestled at 145 pounds, will be joining us, and Alex Suarez, who wrestled at 195. This guy looks like a tank. So we're going to have those guys on in the next segment. Music. I went to my source of information. I went to Wikipedia. And yes, nothing is ever wrong in Wikipedia.
No.
But I looked up bands influenced or bands that came out of Brophy. I found one band. The Meat Puppets. so that's our theme today. So we're going to play some Meat Puppets music as well as bands that were influenced by Meat Puppets because, no disrespect to the Meat Puppets, but they had one song that was mainstream, and then everything else was kind of alternative.
Hey, but all it takes is one, Vince. You can have one hit song, and you can ride that thing into the sunset.
That's right. And then we're going to have bands that were influenced, and you'll be surprised. We're not going to give that information up just yet, but you'll be surprised what bands were influenced by the Meat Puppets.
Keep them in suspense, Vince.
Yes.
That's the way to go.
Yes. How was your week, James? What did you do this week?
It was a good week, Vince. It was a busy week. My wife had playoffs up in Prescott. They lost their game yesterday, unfortunately, so they're done for the season, the high school team at Phoenix Christian. But they had a good season. They're young, and they're building, as they say.
Yes.
But so they'll go a little bit further next year, I feel. So just a busy week wrapping up the end of the high school season for her.
Yeah.
And then now it's full bore into the playoffs starting today with soccer.
Yeah.
Actually out at Williamsfield High School. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff. How about you? You're over at Mesa today, right?
Yes, I'm at Mesa Community College today. I was there on Wednesday night and had a chance to broadcast their live stream on Mesa. What's it called? Mesa T-Bird Live. You can get to it on Twitter, but broadcasted the big rivalry with Scottsdale. So the women played first, and the 20th ranked Mesa T-Birds just trounced the Artichokes. I'm an Artichoke, but the Artichokes by 36 points, and big win for Coach Corey Stevenson. She's leading the conference right now. They're number one. They got the conference tournament, or the postseason starts next week, and they're going in as the number one seed, but they have 2 more games left. They have a game today against Chandler Gilbert at home at 2 p.m., and then at South Mountain Community College Wednesday evening at 5. And so that'll be exciting. And then the men, get this, the men right now, they're sitting at number 3 in the conference, and Scottsdale came over 16th ranked, number 1 in the conference. The Scottsdale men came over. They led by as many as 15 points in the first half. Mesa beats them by 1.
Upset Central.
Yep, Coach Sam Ballard, he had a game plan. I don't know what that game plan was, but at halftime, he talked to his team. They were down pretty heavy in the first half. Halftime came back and all of a sudden took control of the game, and it was a great game. Coach Ballard, who is always so humble, so quiet about things, I don't know what he said to those guys at halftime. They were even down their best player, Rajon Billingsley, their leading scorer. He was out the whole game. They rallied, and they won the game. So they're peaking at the right time, going in as the number 3 seed. They have 2 more games as well. Obviously, Chandler Gilbert today at 4 o'clock at home and out at Mesa Community College. And then Wednesday night, they are closing out the regular season at South Mountain.
So they would go into the NJCAA playoffs. Is that correct? And how is that structured? Is that started out by region, or how does that work?
No, what it is, so it starts off as the region playoffs, the ACCAC, the Arizona Community College Athletic Conference region playoffs. They go in as the number 3. So 4 teams go. And then they play for a region championship.
Okay.
So 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. So they would if they go in as the number 3. So if the season ended today, they'd go in at number 3. I forget who was number 2. I want to say it was Eastern or Central. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But they would travel as the number 3 seed. They play that game, and if they win, then they play whoever comes out of the other bracket, 1 versus 4, and play for the region championships. Then they would then go to the NJCAA.
Okay.
So
very good.
Very excited for Coach Ballard and his team. Great guys. Brandon Cox, remember?
Yes, we had him on the show. That's right.
Plays center.
And does the girls' team have a shot at the playoffs, or is it right there?
And actually, the girls' team is better than the men's team. Whoa. They are ranked 20th. They got a great group. These ladies, they are tough. They are tough. They rebound. They score. I interviewed post-game. Zion Smith, a freshman phenom out of Queen Creek. Oh, man, she lights it up, and she is tough. She rebounds. She scores. She dishes off. She does everything, and she's only a freshman. And so they've got a bright future.
She might be getting some looks then from some bigger schools possibly, right?
So,
at least
ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that JUCO athletics is alive and well in the state of Arizona.
Yes, it is. And so is the JV Sports Show right now as well.
Well, it is. Well, for now. Yeah. So anyway, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us.
And thanks to BoSa Donuts for having us out today, and Jackson, the owner.
We
really appreciate his willingness to have us come out here and do our show on remote here at BoSa.
On remote, yes. A lot of fun, and anybody that comes in, we sit down with us, have a conversation. We don't care who you are. We'll take anybody on. So come on in. We want to learn about you. So, but anyway, good show. It'll be a lot of fun.
It should be good. It should be great.
Yeah.
So coming up after the break, we're going to talk to the wrestling coach for Brophy.
Yes, Wayne Caton.
That'll be a good interview.
Yep.
And we also got an athlete here as well.
Well, we got two. We got Henry Barber and Alex Suarez, so a couple of Brophy student athletes. So I want to hear it direct from them. What makes this school so great? I want to hear it, no holds barred. Tell us about it. Your parents are waiting in the car. You can say whatever you want. Nobody's
listening anyway,
Nobody
right?
listens anyway,
As
right?
we say.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but no, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Be a lot of fun, and yeah, stick around. We got a lot of good
donuts,
stuff.
3701 North Central Avenue. That's where we're at. Get on down here, have some coffee and donuts with us, and let's talk a little bit of JV sports, huh?
We'll be here until 8 o'clock. Go JV.
Live on 1060 in Phoenix. Come right back after this. We'll stay tuned.
Great American Title, your peace of mind is our highest priority. A real estate transaction can be a complicated and overwhelming process. Let us simplify it for you. With our comprehensive list of escrow and title services, we can facilitate any transaction. With branches across the valley and more on the way, Great American Title is big enough to know and small enough to care. Contact Tricia Shipley at 623-760-5866 or visit their website at azgat.com. Great American Title, proud partners of the JV Sports Show. James here to tell you about TBA, Training Better Athletes. Founded by renowned offensive line coach Ron Sowers, their philosophy is based upon training and building well-rounded athletes and young men. They are the go-to training program for talented offensive and defensive linemen seeking to excel in middle and high school programs and preparing to excel at the next level. Coach Sowers continues to prepare student athletes for their collegiate careers at schools such as Notre Dame, Arizona State, and Oregon State, just to name a few. Contact TBA today at 602-435-9064 or visit their website at trainingbetterAthletes.com. You can't cheat the grind.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Anna and Keith started Stessa Movement Company 2 years ago with their customers' clothing styles in mind. They designed for you. Their goal is to clothe the world. It's high-end clothing at affordable prices. Check out and follow this cool streetwear clothing company on Twitter at Stessa Movement and Instagram at Stessa Co. I wear Stessa gear in our broadcasts. It looks and feels great. Sponsoring the Stessa JV Sports Show Player of the Week Award and proud partners of the JV Sports Show. Stessa Movement Company. Stessa spelled S-T-E-S-A for style.
Isn't the season over?
Haven't known that thing.
A real estate transaction can be a complicated and overwhelming
Coach is like, you're never having my guys on again.
Yeah.
With our comprehensive list of escrow and title services, we can facilitate any.
We're live? Are we going?
Oh, we're live.
We're live. Wave at the camera, guys.
YouTube.
Title is
All
big
right.
enough to know and small enough to care. Contact Tricia Shipley at 623.
What was the guy? What was Fogg's name? The guy that died, the coach. Bill. God, he died a couple years ago.
I think it was Bill.
Proud partners
Bill.
of the JV
Yeah, he was just
Sports
head
Show.
coach at Central. He's a good guy.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
You guys are good, man. We're going to have fun.
All right.
That's it.
We're live.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. The one Brophy band that Vince was able to find, the Meat Puppets with Backwater right there, which interestingly enough had a different title.
Tell you
beforehand.
You got to tell what the title
it was previously titled Bongwater, but they wouldn't let them release that.
Yeah.
So they had to change it to Backwater, and record company said, okay, we can put that out.
Yes. So, isn't it? See, now you guys know some trivia. You go back to school, you'd be the most popular guys in school now. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We are joined by a couple of grapplers.
That's it, Vince.
Yeah, so call them grapplers. So, Alex Suarez and Henry Barber. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
We're glad you guys joined us this morning out here at BoSa Donuts. We appreciate you coming.
So, all right. So, Alex, you're a junior?
Yes.
And Henry, you're a senior?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to know, first of all, thank you for calling me sir. It makes me feel, really pumps me up. I want to know about you guys. Alex, let's, actually, with all due respect to the senior here, let's start with the elder statesman. Henry, tell us about your experience the past 4 years at Brophy. No holds barred. Nobody's listening anyway. Go ahead.
It's been an incredible 4 years. We actually just finished up our season, so I'm kind of still trying to figure out what to do with myself. Come home at 3 o'clock, no practice.
Now, is that PM or AM?
PM.
Oh, okay.
You're like, I don't even remember what cartoons are on anymore in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. I haven't been home in so long in the afternoon. That's got to be kind of cool, though, right? You can get a little bit more free time, hang out with your friends, maybe do some different stuff.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Alex, what about you? How's the experience been? And I know you got another year left.
Yes,
so.
yes. Well, coming from soccer, completely different vibe and atmosphere.
Yeah. Okay.
I really love the sport.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It makes you work hard.
Yeah.
And you meet amazing people, just like Henry Barber.
Wow. Oh,
Great
wow.
Look at a little brotherly
I'm glad
love
this is on camera here today, Vince.
It's probably, as soon as they walk out, he's probably going to smack them on the back of the head. Don't ever do that again. Well, nice. And joining us on the line is your coach, Coach Wayne Caton. Coach Caton, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning, sir. So let me ask you this question. So why did you choose these guys to come here? Were these the only? Did these guys choose get the short straw and basically lost the bet and had to show up, or what is it about these guys? These two?
Well, they're natural born leaders, and
wow,
they would represent the team well, and
okay.
And they like getting up early in the morning.
That was
their alarm clocks work relentlessly, Vince.
Okay, so a little about your team, Coach. Group of veterans, young team, and how did things go this season?
Things went well this season. We had 6 guys qualify for the state tournament.
Okay.
Henry was one of them, and we had 2 guys placed in the state. I got a state runner-up, Cesar Avalar, 120 pounds, and senior captain Thomas Durr at 182 pounds, placed third.
Nice.
I think we had a mix of good sophomore, juniors, and seniors.
Yeah.
Strong freshmen and David Sweetman. So I think the future is bright for us, moving ahead.
Great, nice. And okay, so Henry, you were a qualifier. What was that experience like? Talk about some of the guys that you wrestled and just all in all.
So for me, it was just the perfect culmination of my 4 years of wrestling.
Okay.
I'd never made it to state meet before, whether it be because I was injured or just because I wasn't good enough. So to win that last match against Chandler in overtime was just something really special.
Yeah.
Because it was just everything that I'd worked for was falling into place finally.
Now, how long have you wrestled, and what first got you interested in wrestling? When did you first say, hey, that's for me, I want to do that?
So I was actually a basketball player when I came to Brophy, and I tried out for the team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't make it. I was cut.
Yeah.
And my dad just happened to know one of the freshman wrestling coaches.
Okay.
So I said, why not? I'll give it a try. Borrowed a pair of shoes, and loved it, never looked back.
Nice.
So.
Now, do you still own those shoes?
I do not.
Okay.
I took out a loan on the shoes, so I gave those back.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Good.
Very
good.
nice.
And okay, and Henry, now let's talk academics. So, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to head.
Okay.
But I know I'm interested in studying business.
Okay.
Always loved business.
Okay.
So
now, is wrestling are you done completely? Or do you think maybe you'll give it a shot in college? What are you thinking?
I've thought about that.
Yeah.
I've definitely thought about continuing in college, but I'm happy with what I've done in high school.
Sure.
And I'm ready to see what I'm going to do next.
Well, what about, there's other opportunities, too, that you could still stay involved with wrestling, like possibly doing broadcasting for wrestling matches and different sorts of things like that. So keep that on your radar as well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but don't take any opportunities. Anyway, all right. Alex, so other sports. You had mentioned soccer. You played soccer?
Yes. Growing up as a kid, I played soccer mostly my entire life. And going into high school, the plan was for me and my dad to continue soccer at Brophy.
Okay.
A very competitive program, but very good.
Yeah.
But as I was getting older, I started getting tired of soccer. I just didn't like it anymore.
Yeah.
But so I was expecting to go to the tryouts, the freshman tryouts, but instead I ditched those and went to wrestling practice, the very first day of wrestling practice, and instantly fell in love with it.
Do they still, now back years ago, it was pretty archaic. When I went to high school, they used to wrap guys up in saran wrap and then roll them up in the mat to help them like make weight. Do they still do that?
No, we don't do that anymore.
Sweat it out, Vince. That's what it was.
Well, it was true. It was brutal, hey, but
roll them up in the mat.
Yeah, roll them up in the mat, and you got to make weight.
Did you get wrapped in saran wrap?
No, I didn't. No, I heard. All I had to do was hear that story, and I said, "No, I'm not going to wrestle.
I'm not wrestling.
I'm not
Takes
wrestling."
care of that.
So yeah, no thanks. But okay, so good. So they're using modern techniques and everything else. Good. Okay. How hard was it to keep weight this year, Alex? You wrestle 195. You look like you don't miss too many meals. So, no.
Going into the season,
didn't that guy just?
Everybody's trying to get camera time, Vince, around here.
We're in the major throughway here to the restroom, so you see people watching on YouTube, see people walking by. Anyway, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
Beginning the season, I was weighing in around 186, and my sophomore year I was wrestling 170.
Okay.
So over the summer, I ate a lot and grew a lot, so I really couldn't wrestle at 170.
Yeah.
And our 182-pounder was taken up by our senior captain.
Sure.
So I was bumped up to 195 as a.
But you don't weigh 195. So
no.
What was your weight?
I was 186 beginning, and then I cut down a little to shed some fat, and then over the season, started lifting some more, ate some more, and move all the way up to 192.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your goals going into next season? You're going to try to stay at 195?
I don't know yet. Maybe I'm probably stick around 195. I might go to 182, but I'm just going to lift over the off season and see how things go.
And then after Brophy, what are your aspirations? Do you possibly want to continue wrestling? And then academically, what are you looking at as far as career path and so forth when wrestling's done?
Well, wrestling in college, if the opportunity grants itself, I'll take it if it pays for my tuition. As for what I want to do, it's a lot of things. It ranges from like arts all the way to like the sciences, aerospace engineering, and stuff like that.
So okay, very cool.
I'm still deciding.
That's great. Great
Coach
aspirations there.
Coach Caton, how many years have you been coaching wrestling?
Oh, coaching?
Yes, sir.
Oh, over 30 years.
No kidding. And has it all been at Brophy, or how many years have you been at Brophy?
I'm going into my sixth year at Brophy.
Sixth
I'm
year.
actually I'm from New Jersey.
Oh.
Don't hold that against.
No, we'll try not to. So, but depending on how the show goes today. But anyway, so all right. So 60 year, and the kids. I mean, has it been a consistent? With regard to the type of kid that you're getting coming out there, I mean, have you you've obviously enjoyed your time there, otherwise you wouldn't be there anymore. But the kids in general that come through, how many kids on the team, each level? What are your assistant coaches like? I mean, give us a little more background, backstory on the experience.
Oh, the coaches are great.
Okay.
Coach Labers went to Brophy. So he graduated, I believe, in '94, so he knows the whole system.
Okay.
And Coach Falkenstein, the one that Henry Barber alluded to, he works with Henry's father.
Okay.
He's another Brophy grad.
Nice.
So they just, everybody, it takes a village, right? And then this year we had a new addition in Jake Williams, two-time NAIA champ. He's a great technician.
Wow.
So I'm blessed to have a great staff.
Yeah.
And sorry, I have a cold.
Oh, no, it's okay.
And in addition, the kids work hard, so they make us look good.
Yeah.
That always helps, right, Coach? A question for you gentlemen right here. How important is it for you guys to have coaches that not only have wrestled at a high level, like an NAIA level or even beyond, but also a coach that has been at Brophy and understands the Brophy way of doing things?
Well, it certainly helps out a lot to have coaches that actually care about you, and they're with you every day in the wrestling room, so you get to know them as a person, as a coach, and if they went to Brophy, that's even more of a plus because they know how the students are and the curriculum and what we do in our free time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But just having coaches that love you really makes a huge difference.
What do you guys do in your free time when you have free time? Now the season's over. What are you gonna do? You're gonna eat something and put on about 20 pounds? I mean,
the first couple of days, I'm not going to lie to you, I ate a lot of stuff.
Yeah?
Just focusing on
That's
eating.
all right.
But I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm looking to get a job.
Okay.
Trying to think if I'm going to try to come back, help out with Suarez next year.
See, that's also an opportunity. See?
Okay.
Come back and coach at Brophy.
And talking about post-high school, so from what I remember about my experience in coaching, we had a lot of colleges that would come in, and we're talking like Ivy League schools would come in, schools, small schools, private schools from the East, from the Midwest that would come in. You guys have to have something on your radar in terms of where you think you could see yourself. I mean, have you given that any thought? Henry, do you think you would leave home? Do you think you want to stay local? Because you mentioned next year maybe coming back and giving this guy a hard time. But what do you see potentially in your horizon?
I would like to get away from Arizona just to get out of the heat for one, but just to try something new.
Sure.
Because I can always come back to Arizona.
Sure you can.
Indeed.
Great opportunity with ASU right around the corner especially.
Yeah.
But my first choice would probably be to just try and get away. Find something new that I've never seen before.
There you go. I would suggest that. Yeah. Spread your wings a little bit while you have a chance.
Yeah. What about you, Alex?
More than likely, I'll probably stay in-state. Probably mostly because my mom. My mom wants me close by. But if I have the opportunity to go to a different state or go far away, I'll take it.
Sure.
Well, that's definitely something to consider when you're considering playing at the next level. Is how close are you where the friends and family can come and see you at the next level, because they want to keep supporting you, And if you're close enough, that most of the time they'll do that.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Henry, thank Mom, and Susan was out there running around. So you guys, it's exciting. It definitely, as your high school career comes to an end, Henry, a lot of decisions to make. And whatever school you go to, in general, it's a big turning point in your life. A lot of things to look at, a lot of options to weigh. Alex, you got another year, but still, you got things you need to accomplish. So congratulations for all the success. Coach Caton, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate Coach Caton joining us here from Brophy Wrestling, as well as these two outstanding Brophy Bronco athletes. We'll be right back here after the break on the JV Sports Show.
BoSa Donuts.
And we'll talk to Matthew Hooten, the basketball coach. Stay tuned.
Claire Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue. Sal's is synonymous with the best New York-style pizza hands down in the East Valley. My favorites are the lasagna pizza and grandma pizza topped with meatballs and olives. With family dinner specials every day of the year and lunch specials till 3, you can't go wrong with anything that Sal and his friendly staff serves you. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, located on the southwest corner of Gilbert Road and Warner in Gilbert. Open from 10:30 till 9 Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Closed Monday. GilbertPizzaAZ.com. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, proud partner of the JV Sports Show. Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. Angel Dentistry is where my wife and I have gone for the past 10 years and can't think of going anywhere else. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and practiced in the Valley nearly 20 years. Dr. Angel and her staff strive to provide excellent customer service from the moment you call the office to the time you leave with a smile. From general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008 and ask about the JV Sports Special, a free to-go whitened tray. With or without insurance, she will work with you. Off Cave Creek Road, north of the 101 in Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, trusted partner of the JV Sports Show.
James here to tell you about TBA, Training Better Athletes. Founded by renowned offensive line coach Ron Sowers, their philosophy is based upon training and building well-rounded athletes and young men. They are the go-to training program for talented offensive and defensive linemen seeking to excel in middle and high school programs and preparing to excel at the next level. Coach Sowers continues to prepare student athletes for their collegiate careers at schools such as Notre Dame, Arizona State, and Oregon State, just to name a few. Contact TBA today at 602-435-9064 or visit their website at trainingbetterAthletes.com. You can't cheat the grind.
he had a brother that was here when I was coaching here about 7-8 years ago. Drew, I think was his name.
So really good football player.
Yeah.
Actually, really good athlete. He played all three. I think he didn't play basketball his last couple years, but yeah, really good athlete.
Offensive and defensive linemen seeking to excel in middle and high school.
I coached Carlos in my last year as the head JV coach, and then he was on the varsity my first 2 years as the head varsity coach. So I got a chance to coach him for 3 years. Great kid, great family.
Good.
Yeah.
Contact TBA today at 602-235-9.
Real thin,
good shooter.
Or visit their website at Training Better Athletes.
They got the BJ Burries kid that was out at the all-time leading scorer. He plays at Mesa. The kid is sick.
He plays MCC.
Thin, small kid, but he could score. Second leading scorer on the team.
7 to 10, right here on KDUS AM 1060.
I remember Billingsley. He played for Perry, I think. We played him a couple times.
Bring us back.
You're live.
Welcome back. So, Coach, you may remember, you've been at Brophy for a few years, but the Meat Puppets. You ever heard of the Meat Puppets?
I have not heard of the Meat Puppets. I haven't been there that long, apparently.
Wow.
All right. Well, they graduated
Nirvana.
Nirvana. Yeah, that was one of the bands influenced by the Meat Puppets, and you know, it was 40 years ago these guys graduated, but still, they were in the, in the music scene, and everything. They're still out there banging away. But anyway, welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We are at the BoSa Donuts on Central and Clarendon, downtown Phoenix, 3701 North Central to be exact.
That's it.
Come on down, have some donuts. Join us for Brophy Day on the JV Sports Show, and we are joined by Brophy basketball coach Matthew Hooten. Coach Hooten, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we
appreciate you coming down, Coach.
Yeah, especially in the braving the elements. A little bit of
It's great basketball weather, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
I tell people all the time, it's 72 and sunny in the gym all year long.
There you go.
It's good.
That's a great way to put it.
So, Coach, so you just your season just ended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your season, how things went, and with regard to the postseason and everything else.
Yeah, so we started off the year back in November and had a great group of kids that came together. Had a chance to get out of state a little bit at the beginning of the year, and that really helped us, I think, gel together. We started off 0-3 in state games, lost some close ones early, and then went out of state to the Father Barry tournament that we go to each year up in Sacramento at another Jesuit all-boys school.
Wow.
And ended up making a run into the championship, beat the host school by 2 in the semis, which was a great experience for our guys, and ended up losing to a really good Archbishop Mitty team in the title game, and then came back and were able to kind of keep that momentum going and played in a really tough tournament at Christmas out at Mountain View High School, the Visit Mesa Challenge. And then once the new year rolled around, really got into a groove. Went 11-2 in our last 13 Power Points games, and were able to climb. I think we started off 19th in the first power rankings that came out in early January. We were able to climb up to 4, ended up settling in at 5.
Nice.
And then ended up, as the draw came out, we ended up with the regional opponent, Perry, who we'd been tight with. We split with them during the year. They were one of the 2 teams that got us in January and early February in that great run that we were on, and played a really tough game, and ended up taking our first lead with a couple minutes to go by 1, and just couldn't quite hold it, but got some good shots laid. And obviously the season didn't end the way that we wanted to. We wanted to be playing tonight in the quarterfinals, but really proud of this group and the way that they came together and stayed together throughout the year. And always the hard part about being a varsity coach. This is my 5th year now being a varsity coach. Hard part is you get to that end of the year and those seniors are moving on to other things. So we're excited about the young guys that we've got coming back next year. We've got to just keep building.
Now, what was you said 5 years now you've been a head coach. Is that head coach at Brophy the entire 5 years?
Yeah, so I've been at Brophy 13 years, and I started out as a freshman assistant for 2 years, JV assistant for a year. I was the head JV coach for 5 years, and this is the end of my 5th year as the head varsity coach. So
once you got that head coaching job, what did you feel was the biggest single challenge that you had to overcome that you were like, oh, wow? Because I say to my wife all the time, so you want to be a head coach. Like she'll just come home and go, oh, this is just craziness. And so you want to be the head coach. What was the biggest challenge that you encountered first time?
I think we were blessed to have a pretty young group that year. I only had 3 seniors, and those 3 seniors really bought into some of the things that we wanted to continue to develop. And then having that younger group, I had 2 sophomores, both of whom are playing Division I basketball now, and then I had a good chunk of juniors. And so we were able to kind of instill a new culture, and we started to extend our season into the weight room and training in ways that we hadn't before, and I think that really helped us grow. And if you look at our 5 years, the last 4 years we've had a bye in the first round of the playoffs, so we've been a top 8 seed for the last 4 years. I think we're the only team in 6A who can say that. So we've been able to go through what are ultimately really tough schedules each year, and really put together good seasons. So
this year's team, so was it a senior-dominated team, a lot of underclassmen? What was the blend of this?
Yeah, this is actually probably about the most wide variety of classes that I've had at Brophy, and that goes all the way down to the freshman class. We had 1 freshman who was up with us, first time that I've had a freshman up with us really all year long.
Yeah.
And then we had 3 sophomores, excuse me, and then 5 seniors, and then I think we had 4 juniors on the team. So really kind of a blend of different classes, and that was, I think, another part of our success was the way those guys were able to play together.
Talk about some of your assistant coaches, not only at the varsity level, but at the lower levels that help build the program up as the kids come up through the ranks. And talk about some of those guys that help you out, maybe gals and gals for that.
Yeah, we've got an incredible staff, and we're really fortunate with that. So, starting with my varsity assistants, Mike Schwartley, class of '99 from Brophy, played at Brophy for 4 years, walked on at University of Arizona, was on was on the 2001 team that lost in the national championship game to Duke, and so had a great career down there, and then did some coaching at the community college level, and we were fortunate to bring him back. Actually, when I was hired 5 years ago, probably within 48 hours, he was somebody that I got in touch with. I had coached with one of his teammates, and knew that he was coaching over at Desert Vista, actually, and watched his teams play against us, and was kind of sitting there going, why do we have this Brophy grad who's beating us up on the court? So we need to get him over with us. So he's been a huge addition for us. And then Mark Granger, class of '86, also a Brophy grad, who was actually Coach Schwartley's coach when Coach Schwartley was at Brophy. So he's back, and he's got 20-plus years of head varsity experience. So to have somebody with his experience on our staff is fantastic. And then at our lower levels, head coach at the JV level was a head varsity coach. His name is John Burns. He was a head varsity coach in Wisconsin for over a decade, won a state title there. So he just brings an incredible amount of experience, passion for the game, a lot of energy. He's assisted by Yvonne Flores, who brings experience coaching in Puerto Rico and at the college level, and also with their national teams.
Wow.
And then our head freshman coach, Jerry Zander, actually coached down at Sal Point, was the head varsity coach there about 10 years ago, and then was a head varsity coach in just north of Seattle, Washington for a few years. Came to us a couple years ago from Notre Dame Prep, where he was a vice principal. So not only a head varsity coach, but also has admin experience. And then he's assisted by Doug Cox, who is a longtime coach in our programs, literally coached every single level during his time. And
so you got a wealth of experience, not just basketball experience, but overall experience with the kids and everything from these coaches. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and our last freshman assistant, Bob Hans, off-campus coach, works at IBM and just has a passion for the game, played Division I basketball back in Wisconsin, coached with Dick Bennett for a while. And so if you look at our coaching staff, I think we're really fortunate to have, not only great coaches, but great people who are great role models for our kids.
One of the big challenges, it doesn't matter what school you're at, Coach, but one of the big challenges with regard to hiring qualified assistants is that you want guys that obviously that know what they're doing, but a lot of those guys are not on-campus coaches. So in other words, they don't teach on campus. They come from elsewhere in the afternoon, but while working another job. And no disrespect to the teaching profession, but it doesn't pay a lot of money. So a lot of times it's hard to dip into that pool of teachers to get them to coach because they're just either not interested, they're overwhelmed, overworked in their teaching job, or they're just not qualified to do it. So but the one thing about Brophy is that it seems like there's a lot of guys that are on campus that are alums that teach that also coach. Is that the case here?
Yeah, so we only have one of our coaches who's off campus, but he also he's coached at Brophy before. So he coached at the varsity level in the early 90s when his brother-in-law was Brophy's head coach, and then his son went to Brophy. So and his son didn't play basketball while he was there, but when his son was at Brophy, he kind of came back as a parent and kind of reflected on, man, I really enjoyed my coaching experience there. So once his son graduated, again, when I got the head job and I started to kind of look at who are some people that we can kind of add at different positions. I mentioned Mike. Mike was the kind of the first person I contacted, and Bob, who's our only off-campus coach, was another one. And so we were able to bring in some guys who understood what Brophy is, because the reality is, we have a really rigorous academic environment, and that's something that I think our coaches really embrace. We tell our guys all the time, you're a scholar athlete, and scholar comes first. So we have people who I think get that. So, if you look at our coaching staff, which is 8 deep, we have 7 on-campus coaches, and I think Brophy does a great job of hiring people who are really aligned to the mission of the school, and it just so happens that some of those people the last few years have also had basketball experience. So it's always a fun thing as a coach when the principal emails you and say, hey, we hired this great math teacher, but guess what? He also has a basketball experience as well. So,
well, you mentioned the academic rigors of Brophy and a school like Brophy. How is it to coach there with kids that understand how to handle that and handle their business, if you will, in the classroom, and that's got to translate to the court as far as discipline and different sorts of things, characteristics like that. Am I right?
Yeah, I think we have kids who really have to figure out early on how to manage their time effectively, and they have to make sure that they're focused, and I think that focus translates from the classroom onto the basketball court. We have guys ultimately who are students of a lot of different things and a lot of different disciplines, and again, I think the coaching profession, so much of it is teaching, and so that's something that, as we transition ourselves from the classroom as teachers to the court as teachers ultimately of the game of basketball, that's something that I think we align with our students on. It's something that really brings us together.
2 minutes too.
Admin. What's the admin like at Brophy? What Bill Woods, your AD? What's go through. I know Bill, but tell me what your experience has been.
Yeah, we've got incredible support, and I think as you look at high school sports, not only around the valley, but just in the community at large, I think when you have great administrative support, it really does a lot of positive things for a program. And so we're fortunate to have that. Our administration is often at our games, whether they're home or away. They're huge advocates of what we do to help continue to build our players into men for others on the basketball court, which is a huge part of what we're trying to do as a school. And then, Bill is obviously our athletic director now. Actually coached with him. He was at the freshman level when I was the JV coach. So.
We used to tease him because he was a tennis coach and he won state championships. And it's like, okay, so what do? You go out there and you throw him a ball and you said play, and he would get credit and being the coach that won a state title. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway, yeah. Well, all right.
He would tell you about all the strategy associated with pairings and making sure he played people. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
But he drove the bus.
A lot of strategy there, Vince.
Yes. Stick around, Coach Hooten. We want to talk to you some more. I'm going to ask you. I'm really going to hold your feet to the fire with my next question when we come back from the break. So
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're coming back with Brophy head basketball coach Matthew Hooten. We're hoping to get a visit from the soccer coach Paul Allen, and we're just going to talk some more Brophy.
Coach Allen, give us a call when you can. We're live at BoSa Donuts, 3701 North Central Avenue. Still a little time. Come on in here and join us. Get a dozen to go and get home with them, and come on out and see us here out at BoSa Donuts. Stay tuned. We'll be right back here on the JV Sports Show.
Go JV.
Great American Title, your peace of mind is our highest priority. A real estate transaction can be a complicated and overwhelming process. Let us simplify it for you. With our comprehensive list of escrow and title services, we can facilitate any transaction. With branches across the valley and more on the way, Great American Title is big enough to know and small enough to care. Contact Tricia Shipley at 623-760-5866 or visit their website at azgat.com. Great American Title, proud partners of the JV Sports Show.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Anna and Keith started Stessa Movement Company 2 years ago with their customers' clothing styles in mind. They designed for you. Their goal is to clothe the world. It's high-end clothing at affordable prices. Check out and follow this cool streetwear clothing company on Twitter at Stessa Movement and Instagram at Stessa Co. I wear Stessa gear in our broadcasts. It looks and feels great. Sponsoring the Stessa JV Sports Show Player of the Week Award and proud partners of the JV Sports Show. Stessa Movement Company. Stessa spelled S-T-E-S-A for style. Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue. Sal's is synonymous with the best New York-style pizza hands down in the East Valley. My favorites are the lasagna pizza and grandma pizza topped with meatballs and olives. With family dinner specials every day of the year and lunch specials till 3, you can't go wrong with anything that Sal and his friendly staff serves you. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, located on the southwest corner of Gilbert Road and Warner in Gilbert. Open from 10:30 till 9 Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Closed Monday. GilbertPizzaAZ.com. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, proud partner of the JV Sports Show. Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. Angel Dentistry is where my wife and I have gone for the past 10 years and can't think of going anywhere else. Dr. Amber
Grunge. So going into the break, we had a local band. You heard Justin from Oblitheron. They're a local band. They are. I had to put this out there. Anyway, talk about our promotion with Training Better Athletes while I.
Well, actually, if you mention the JV Sports Show when you're contacting Trainer Better Athletes, that's the company that Coach Ron Sowers runs over there, training up the offensive and defensive linemen. Is it 20% off, or the first 2 weeks are free?
Yes.
If you mention the JV Sports Show when you're signing up for Training Better Athletes, a proud partner of the JV Sports Show, 2 weeks for free over there. And I believe your son is going to go over there for the first time today,
my boy
right?
Matthew, he doesn't know it yet, but tomorrow we're going to Training Better Athletes, and he's going to start working with the defensive linemen over there, getting some technique down. And he's actually he's a defensive back, but he needs more technique with his hands. He needs to learn how to tackle.
Well, like we were talking off air, all those stuff that he does over there at Training Better Athletes helps with any position in football, the stance and the hand movement and the hand placement and all that stuff.
So we're going tomorrow at 2:30. He'll get in there and work with Coach Sowers. So again, mention JV Sports Show and get out there. Any sport, but you need more work in your off season. He'll work with you, and he's an offensive defensive line guy, but technique wise, hand placement, and you get out there and you get your first 2 weeks.
Different ages too, Vince. There was young guys out there all the way up to seniors and above.
Yeah, and I mean Matthew, my son is 14. He's in 8th grade, and but there's guys on up into college age and beyond working out there. So he's got different classes. It's great. Mention JV Sports Show. 2 weeks free. Another thing, we talked about Oblitheron, the local band. So they're releasing music online next Friday, February 28th, on all major streaming and download platforms. Pre-orders are live on Google Play and iTunes right now. So
sweet, we'll share them out from our JV Sports Shows
Oblitheron
Twitter.
So it's great stuff. Justin and Rick from Oblitheron, and also Greg got a little upset with us last week. Producer Greg Jones that we did not mention. So Greg works out at Scottsdale Christian up off Tatum and Thunderbird, and today the basketball team is playing. The boys basketball team are playing up at in Prescott Valley, the Toyota Center. They're facing, what is it, semifinals, championship? What is it? Quarters? Against Camp Verde today at 10 a.m. So if you're in for our listeners up in Yavapai County, head up to the Toyota Center.
Coach Bob Fredericks, his final season with SCA boys basketball, 35 years, Vince.
Wow. See?
35 years.
Yes.
7 state titles? Going on 8.
Wow.
That's right. Good answer.
Yeah. So anyway, we did some housekeeping there. All right, now, Coach Hooten, the question I have to ask you, I want to know, because when I coached there, we dealt with it. Most of the parents were really good people, but you had one or two that were a little tougher to deal with. So here's a scenario. Why doesn't my kid play?
I think we've got great structures in place to help those conversations happen in really positive ways. So we always ask that our players are the first people to come have a conversation with us. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be something that we can kind of put our heads together with that player. It helps them to build their ability to have those conversations, which I think ultimately, if we're in the position of trying to help form young men, we need those young men to leave us in 4 years and be able to go up to their college professor and say, hey, I've got a question about this, or be able to go to their boss and say, hey, I have a question about this. So those are conversations that we always ask start with the players themselves, and then if we need to put our heads together with families as well, then we'll put all of us in a room and basically try to figure out what's the best way that we can continue to have your son continue to grow and develop and help our team.
So you actually have that conversation with your team and say, hey, if anyone here has a question about why am I not playing, or why is Johnny playing the 3, I should be playing the 3 or the 2, you actually let them know, hey, we want you to come and talk to us.
Yeah, we've got an open door, and I think our staff has been really clear about that. And throughout the year, we also schedule meetings, so we have a meeting with every player individually around Christmas time, kind of halfway through the year. So it gives us a chance to touch base with each of them and kind of say, this is kind of where we're at right now. This is kind of the role that we see developing for you, and we take questions from them. Are there things that you want to talk about? And I think at the end of the day, the mission of the school and the concept of being a man for others also bleeds into a team environment where you say, look, the reality is that on a good team in a really tight game, 7 or 8 guys are going to play, but we need all 12 or 13 guys that are on the team in order for us to have success this year as a group. So we've had guys who've really bought into that, particularly over the last few years. So it's been something that's really helped us succeed.
What has been one of your greatest moments as a coach at Brophy Prep that you can reflect on and say, wow, that was really cool, that was a great game, or that was a neat event, or what situation?
Yeah, I think when you think about kind of the competitive neat moments, the game specifically, probably the one that comes to the top of the list for most people over the last 5 years is the game we played against Pinnacle 2 years ago, where the doors shut down about 15 minutes before the game. We were number 1, they were number 2. It's about a week before the playoffs, and we ended up hitting a 3 at the buzzer to win it, and the crowd came out, and it was just a great experience. But I think for me,
was that like a Hoosiers moment, and then at the end, and then
that was a great Pinnacle team with Rattler, Marcus Libman was on that team,
and then the one assistant, what was his name? He falls off the wagon and starts drinking again. Oh. Was that anything like that in your program? No,
not so much.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. So we have those kind of competitive moments, but when I always kind of look back on a season and reflect on what are those moments that are really enjoyable, oftentimes it's conversations with kids on the buses to away games. We play in the Premier Region. Every away game we play in that region is an hour drive. This year our bus broke down on the way, so we're on the way to play at Perry, and I'm going up the ramp on the carpool lane to go from the 10 to the 60, and I wasn't sure we were going to make it up, and I had these visions of, they're going to be a news helicopter over, like Brophy basketball, holding up all of traffic in the valley. Fortunately, we were able to get off the freeway, but those are kind of the moments that when you look back on a season, or the moments you have as a group, that kind of give you some levity and help you kind of reflect on it back with a lot of positivity. So,
how great is it for you, Coach, to see a former student athlete of yours go on and either play at the next level, if that's the desire that they have, or even go into business or go into a professional career and be successful? How great is that for you to see, years down the road?
Yeah, one of the things, again, I talked about culture, and one of the things that we changed when I started is that we started an alumni game. We do it Wednesday night, right before Thanksgiving every year. That's when a lot of people are kind of coming back in town.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And so it gives us a great chance to see a lot of those guys. We've got a couple kids from our team that went 26-2 and lost in the semis 2 years ago who are playing at the Division I level now. Ian Burke, who's up at Portland State, and then Jackson Baker, who hit the shot against Pinnacle. He's playing at Central Arkansas. So fun to see those guys playing. Ian was up in Flagstaff playing against Northern Arizona a couple weeks ago, and then to be able to see them continue to pursue their dreams is a lot of fun. Carlos Saucedo, you guys were mentioning Mesa Community College. Carlos Saucedo played for me, and he's now down there playing for Mesa Community College for Coach Ballard. So we've got guys in the Valley who are doing that. But kind of getting back to the alumni game, that's always fun to see all those guys because, you know, the vast majority of high school athletes don't go on to play in college. They go on to do other things. And, you know, I tell our players all the time that the player I've had who's walked away with, you know, the greatest, you know, package in terms of college is Daniel Bonner, who graduated for us 3 years ago, and it was a Flynn Scholar, which is there's only 20 Flynn Scholars in the state of Arizona every year, and you know, not only is you know his schooling paid for, but they also help support him with other things that he's doing to pursue you know, his education. So he went to China a couple summers ago, and they paid for a large portion of that trip. So
how awesome is that,
Coach? We would be remiss if there were two guys that we didn't mention today, and that had a significant influence on Brophy, on the program, and Coach Fogg, who's one, and Father Dutch, who both have since passed away. But what was their presence on campus like for the Brophy community, and when we lost them, when you lost them?
I had a lot more of a personal relationship with Father Olivier, but Coach Fogg, even though I wasn't coaching, you know, at
2 minutes,
you know, in that program at that time, was somebody that, you know, people were really aware of on campus. Obviously, when we lost him, the kids were really affected by that, and you could see the influence that he had on them in his time there. Father Olivier was a huge supporter of really all Brophy athletics, and was a fixture in the bleachers at Brophy. So he was a huge influence on me.
Coach, we've got to cut you off because we're coming into our final minutes, and we have better late than never, Coach. Soccer coach here, Paul Allen. Coach, you're having a heck of a season. You got a big game today.
We do. We
Congratulations.
are Campo Verde at 5 p.m. today.
Nice. And you're playing against?
We have Red Mountain.
Okay. All right. And thanks for coming by this morning. Give us a outlook. What do you got in terms of what you're facing on the field today?
I have not seen them this year.
Okay.
1 minute.
They've come through with some big upsets during the tournament. They got a forward that scores goals.
Okay.
We're playing in the rain, which is good for us.
Sure.
So it should be an exciting one.
Coach, that's
Very
awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming by. We apologize because we're right at the end of our show, but you got a big game today. We're excited for you. It's going to be a great game.
That'll be out at Campo Verde High School
in
right,
Gilbert.
Okay.
5 p.m. today. It's
Semifinals.
Semifinals
against Red Mountain.
Yeah, big one.
20.
How about it? Thanks very much to our special guest today for coming out. It's been a great day on the JV Sports Show talking about Brophy athletics, Vince.
Yes, and come join us next week. We're going to be in studio. We got a special show you don't want to miss next week. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks to all our show partners. Thanks to our guests, Brophy. Thanks for accommodating us. BoSa Donuts.
Producer
Jackson,
Greg Jones.
Producer Greg, my son Matthew, who helped set up. Join us next week, 7 to 8, AM 1060. Go JV.
Stay dry. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday.
KDUS.
You are clear.